erotic section is gone, but the ads have just pretty much migrated over to the adult section. Connecticut's Attorney General Richard Blumenthal is back with us tonight. He led a big settlement with Craigslist, and also we've got the man of the hour in some ways, South Carolina's AG. He's being sued by Craigslist for threatening to take further action if all prostitution ads in his state aren't blocked. Clearly, it's not all blocked yet anyway. Henry McMaster is the South Carolina Attorney General, and he's in Charleston. And Connecticut's AG, Mr. Blumenthal, he's in Stamford. Mr. McMaster, what would you like Craigslist to do in order to get all hooker ads out of South Carolina listings?
Well, they took down the erotic section, the erotic services section, and that's where the blatant prostitution ads were. That is the vehicle of choice for prostitution all across the country, and especially here in South Carolina. We had hundreds of arrests over just the last few years. So we asked them, Richard Blumenthal and I and a number of others led by Richard, asked them back in November to take the ads off. They said they were going to do something. They were still there. So on May the 5th, I gave them a deadline. They met with Richard Blumenthal and others, and we're happy to report that they have closed down that section. They've taken the ads off there. They've promised to do something they said they weren't going to do before, and that is they're reviewing all the ads now manually that go on the adult section.
Yes, well, so here's the thing. I mean, it's pointed out that actually they didn't take them down. They just moved them and put them under a different header, number one. And number two, sir, I'm sure that magazines and newspapers in South Carolina run ads for personal services from pretty women and handsome men. Have you gone after the newspapers and told them that they got to take out those ads? I mean, aren't we basically talking First Amendment violation here is what you're doing?
No. No, we're not. It is illegal to solicit for prostitution. It's illegal to offer prostitution services, and it is illegal in South Carolina to aid and abet somebody to do that. What Craigslist was doing, after being told by 40 attorneys general that these are prostitution ads, nothing else. These are not companionship ads. These were prostitution ads. We told them back in November. They left them on. We had, Richard had other meetings. I told them on May the 5th they're still on. The sheriffs all over the state were saying they're still on. They were blatant prostitution ads. So it took a lot of talking to finally get the message to them, and they have taken them off.
But how much
that's true. They've opened up, wait a minute, they've opened up another section. But the ads that are there now are nothing like the ads that were there before. The prostitutes themselves have told law enforcement in this state and around the country that Craigslist was their favorite vehicle, the vehicle of choice for prostitution. Have been arrests everywhere. They've changed it. If they don't put the prostitution ads back up, they have nothing to worry about from us.
Yeah. Now, Mr. Blumenthal, Mr. McMaster's just got not a lawsuit, but charges filed against him. I mean, Craigslist went to court in South Carolina, federal court, and said this guy is trying to infringe on our First Amendment rights. We want a restraining order. Have you, sir, ever been sued or legally attacked by a target that you were going after before you even had a chance to file charges?
Never in this way, but I want to say very bluntly and frankly that I admire General McMaster's very aggressive stance. There is no First Amendment violation here. This lawsuit is totally unfounded, and it will be dismissed by the courts. General McMaster is right that the ads now in the adult services section are nothing like the explicit, graphic ads with blatant pornography that were appearing in erotic services section. But I will tell you something, we're not done yet. We're monitoring these ads, and we're considering additional steps that may be taken. And I just want to finish one point here, because I think it's very important, and you may know it, but your listeners certainly should be aware of it. You know, we're law enforcement officials, and the reason that we prosecute prostitution is not only that it's against the law, but it is related to all kinds of other blatantly serious crime, like child exploitation, human trafficking, extortion.
Well, then go after the human trafficking rings and exploitation rings instead of going after advertising, gentlemen. Mr. McMaster, okay, there's a First Amendment here issue, but also there's another issue. It is against the canon of ethics of the American Bar Association for a lawyer who is in a civil matter looking at civil settlement to threaten criminal prostitution as a way to pressure that defendant or target into doing a civil settlement. Yet it sounds like that's kind of exactly what you did here. You said, I'll go after you guys criminally, I'll go after you criminally, and yet that's against the canon of ethics. Haven't you committed unethical behavior in some ways, sir?
Of course not. We didn't have any civil case against anybody. we'd entered into, led by